What's up, guys? It's your boy Gorilla Mike. It's July 1st, Monday, July 1st, 2019. So welcome to July. It's my birthday month, so I'm looking forward to this month and seeing what I can accomplish. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're looking forward to your week. It's Monday, so it's one of those days. Anyway, so let's go talk about some of the things that's going on in the news. Of course, last week we had the big U.S. news. The thing dominating the U.S. news was the first round of Democratic presidential debate, or actually the Democratic primary. So this week, or over the weekend per se, and last week, going into last week, we had, of course, President Trump's big visit overseas to the G20 summit in Japan, where he was buddying, palling around with his homeboy Vladimir Putin. Talking about things like getting rid of the press and silencing critics. Vladimir is pretty well versed in those type of areas, so I'm sure he's going to give Trump a lot of friendly advice on how to silence your critics and control the media. Anyway, so yeah, he was buddying up with his boy Vladimir. They spoke a little bit. They had some joint press conferences speaking about U.S.-Russian relations, and nothing from Trump, no strong words from him regarding the interference of Russia with the U.S. presidential elections in the past. He believes Vladimir Putin. According to him, Vladimir said, "Hey man, I didn't do it. It wasn't me." So Trump is like, "Hey, my boy Vlad said it wasn't me, so I mean, what can I do, right?" So, just one of the things, how can you blame Trump, right? His homeboy said, "Hey, I didn't do it." So he ain't gonna snitch on his boy. He ain't down with that, right? So, Putin and Trump, they tight, they doing their thing. So they were doing their thing in the G20, smiling up for the cameras. What else was going on over there? So Trump also met with his homeboy, his close homie, Mohammed the Butcher bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. The man known by the intelligence communities around the world as the one who ordered the ambush, assassination, and butchery with a bone saw of prominent journalist and Washington Post contributor Jamal Khashoggi at the Turkish embassy in Istanbul last year. Terrible affair. Once again, Trump is back in Saudi Arabia and saying that the Crown Prince had nothing to do with it, and it was some people, some rogue elements within the Saudi government that did it on their own, and there's going to be some arrests and some flogging and some what else goes on in Saudi Arabia? Some beheadings and the customary regular crucifixions, I suppose, if any of them are Christians. So not a lot we can hear about that. I mean, it's Saudi Arabia, as we know, is a blacked out when it comes to media, very very hard on their dissidents and their journalism and people who speak out against the government. So yeah, so you have the good old boy Donald Trump. His closest partners at the G20 was Vladimir Putin, a man known to execute his political foes in broad daylight, meters away from the Kremlin. So that's how Vladimir rolls. He doesn't care if you're in London or wherever you are, he's gonna get you. So that's Trump's close homie. I'm sure he's got some tapes on Trump, so that's why Trump got to be like, man, he can't do nothing to Vlad because he got me by the balls. Anyway, so Vlad got his thing going on. The KGB boy has his skill set working for him. He's got some compromise on Trump and God knows who else. He's doing things the way he likes to do things. And then, of course, Mohammed bin Salman running Saudi Arabia, roughshod, the same way he likes to do things, killing people who disagree with him. So, and then, of course, your homeboy Trump left his boys over there in Japan, flew across to South Korea to meet with his other close homie, Chairman Kim. They met at the border. It was a historic meeting because it was the first time that a sitting U.S. president ever set foot in North Korea. So they had a great big photo op at the border, stepped across the line, shook hands, a lot of ass kissing, a lot of brown nosing. I don't know what the term is in Korean, but I'm sure the Koreans will agree with me. Not a lot got accomplished. They had the same type of meeting in Singapore and then in Vietnam a few months ago, last year. Once again, not a lot of progress coming out of that, right? A lot of little ass tickling, a lot going on, a little feather up the asshole, say, hey, you like that? It feels good? Okay, I like that too. So let's continue tickling each other's buttholes, but we're not accomplishing anything, right? You keep going on the date, but you never get a first kiss, you never get to hold hands, you never get to see the apartment inside of the room, you never get to see anything, right? So you're in the friend zone. So that's Trump met Kim. It is progress, I guess, but let's see what's going to go after this. So it's always about the follow through. It's not about what you do in the beginning or for one time. It's about consistency and dependability and efficiency and follow through, right? So let's see what Trump does with the developments in Korea. Moving on in the region. Just heating up is the protests in Hong Kong, right? So a lot of you guys from around the world may not be aware of course, these protests going on in Hong Kong, but why, right? So initially it started because China wanted to extradite prisoners to the mainland, right? So if you get caught in China, in Hong Kong, then China wanted to be able to take you back to the mainland and handle your legal rights there. But the problem is, of course, that the mainland China has no human rights. A lot of people are disappearing. A lot of bad things happen when you go there. So Hong Kong remains a sort of semi-autonomy, having been governed by England and then given back to China under some limited autonomous provisions. So they're fighting for something important because they're fighting China, who is make no mistakes about it, the world's leader in terms of oppression and controlling their population with all types of tools. So Hong Kong is they're at the forefront of a war against China, and they're fighting it in the only way they can fight, with their mind and their bodies, in terms of protests. And so they're fighting so that the Chinese don't have the ability to just snatch and grab people off the street of Hong Kong, charge them for whatever, you could just make up a crime, oh, this guy published a magazine or a book or a pamphlet or an email or a blog that speaking out against China. So now we're going to go grab him off the streets of Hong Kong. He's going to disappear. We're going to take him back to the mainland China. We're going to put him in a concentration camp or whatever. He's gone. Nobody knows where he is, right? So this is what the type of thing that China does, that Hong Kong is trying to fight against. So it's important that we follow this closely and we support the protesters in Hong Kong. It might turn a little bit ugly sometimes. That's only because China is playing dirty as well. So we got to realize that the only way to fight China, the only way to defeat or change China, and China needs to be changed, it is an evil empire to a certain extent, is with Hong Kong. Because Hong Kong has one foot still in the Western world, still enjoying the freedoms that places like America and in England and the free world enjoys. So we got to support them. We got to back them up, and we got to pay attention to what's going on. We can't allow China to bully them, and we got to if things escalate and things become violent, we got to be as international observers support them and also hold China accountable for their actions, and of course support Hong Kong in their pursuit to continue to be autonomous and free and enjoy the same freedoms that we all enjoy, right? So, protesters in Hong Kong, we got your back. Gorilla Mike is keeping an eye on you. You know what I mean? I'll be talking about you as the need arises, I should say. So, kudos to you over there. And staying in the region again, another thing that happened this week that really pissed me off is that Japan chose to resume commercial whaling. All right, so after decades of being part of a commercial whaling ban, an international commercial whaling ban, the Japanese government decided to step out of that agreement and start pursuing commercial whaling again. This is at a point in time when, of course, the world is really environmentally conscious, and we're really trying to bring back animals that humans have driven to either extinction or to the verge of extinction. And we all know that whales are a very vulnerable group of animals. That are so affected by the things we've done to the ocean, not even to say direct hunting, but just by the pressure we put on the ocean in terms of pollution, in terms of our use of it and shipping and taking out fish and their natural play and damaging their natural environment. So we've put pressure on them as a species, just through our actions indirectly, but now we're going to be putting pressure on them directly and hunting them and using the modern technology that we have, satellite and sonar and all of these things to actually hunt them. What chance do they have to live, So and it's not even confined to just Japanese waters. That's bad enough. but they're going to go into the Arctic, they're going to international waters, and they're going to hunt whales. So we got to support organizations like Greenpeace and other organizations that are really trying to fight them. And I am a firm believer that, sometimes you can't just sit back and be nonviolent, right? Greenpeace has been known to employ not necessarily violent tactics, but aggressive tactics. And I certainly support that. Getting between those whaling ships and their prey and allowing the whales a chance to escape and things like that. We got to find, by any means necessary. I'm a firm believer in that, Malcolm X, by any means necessary to accomplish the mission, as long as your enemy is not willing to escalate, right? So as long as your opponent, your foe, your challenger is not willing to escalate the situation, then you should also play by the same rules they're playing. And if they're going to be violent and forceful, then you should also rise to the occasion as well. So that's what Gorilla Mike thinks about that. So fuck you to the Japanese government, and I love Japan. I've got a lot of good friends from there. I love the culture, I love the history, I love the people, but this is a foolish, stupid, jackass decision that you guys need to seriously look. And I hope the international community, the different organizations around the world that are trying to bring, fighting for animals and wildlife and saving the planet and reversing a lot of the damage that we've done. I hope they put pressure on Japan, and I hope Japan reverses their decision on this. I hope there's also internal protests and internal, voice from Japanese people saying this is not right. We've got enough to eat. We're one of the richest countries in the world, one of the most successful countries in the world, and this is not what we should be doing. We have enough resources to take care of ourselves, right? So free the whales, leave the whales alone. Japan, fuck you. So that's it, man. That's a couple of issues that's going on in the world, mostly centered in Asia right now. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Getting back to work. Enjoy your work day. And this is Gorilla Mike. I'm out.